Show them how you get up in your bag. Show them that swag. What you see is what you get. When I look in the mirror, I'm looking like a man. Like we playing tag bad, I'm the top pick. Show them what you're working with. Break the circuit, be a hit. Go ahead and make them sit. If you gotta hate it, then your purpose is equipped. Tell them catch you later, cause you serving up some grits. Meaning hot with the drip when I drop in the mix. The proof is in the pudding. Show them how you do it. They do it like they shouldn't. You don't need to brag, cause your competition couldn't. You don't need to boast, cause the proof is in the pudding. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them that swag. Show them what you got. Show them how you get up in your bag. Show them that swag.
All right, Jay, we are live.
All right.
All right, looks like we've got 22 people on so far. Do you want to give it a couple minutes, or should we just jump right in? Because we got a lot of photos to get through.
Yeah, maybe give it 2 minutes, see where we're at.
All right, sounds good. Okay, and for the new people, though, we can just go ahead and intro Jay if you're not familiar with who Jay Boatwright is. Jay is from smaX, and he is one of PhotoDay's top studios. They have done over $8 million in sales with PhotoDay and is just shy of 20,000 PD100s. And also is considered one of the top people in the volume sports photography and runs a very popular boot camp, the Boatwright Boot Camp. So Jay, I will let you kind of take it over from here.
Okay, perfect. How we doing with numbers? We got a few more coming in. Okay, looking pretty good. Okay, all right. So I wanted to kind of go over a little bit about how I look at photos. We've been doing it a long time, 18 years, and we do all basically environmental photos where we do, on the field of play, whether it's a baseball field, football field, inside of a gym, it's a gymnastics spot, wherever it may be. We do a few composites, mainly for like baseball banners and things like that. So I'm not an expert on composites. With the workflow that we have, it just works best for us to shoot on natural backgrounds. You can do it both ways, whatever your market is, whatever your customers like. That's what I'm for. So if they want the composites, that's good. But for us, we've kind of built a look over the years, and most of our customers want that natural look. And so that's what we do. However, lighting and posing is kind of my thing. I really take a lot of pride in dialing in lighting and posing. So that way, when we're editing photos, that it's just basically, we use Imagine AI to edit the photos. It's a quick review and we're good to go. We do a lot of volume, so that's the only way that it seems to work for us at this scale. But like I said, either way works. Posing and lighting is going to be good. Needs to be important, whether you're doing composite work or you're doing environmental style work. But one issue that we'll see in some composites is that we concentrate a lot on the background and the graphics and things like that, and kind of forget about making sure we have great lighting and posing. So that's something to kind of keep in mind as we're going forward. All the images that I've seen so far, some I've seen, I think some that I haven't seen, they've all been pretty good, but we're going to go over details, and these are small details. And everybody makes mistakes, especially on volume photo shoots. As I go through a big shoot, I'm going to have, 10 or 15 that I love. And a lot of them, I'm going to find mistakes in each and every one of them that we could have done differently. But typically when you're working in volume, you don't have time to perfect everything. You get it as good as you can in a good sellable photo, then you got to keep moving on to the next athlete. All that being said, I am self-taught, so I go back and look at my photos from 15 years ago, and they're not that good. So I have a lot of empathy if you're just getting started or you're just trying to level up your work. If you're not there yet, the fact that you send photos in for me to review, for me to look at, I think that's very brave, and I commend everybody who does send in photos. So hopefully this criticism, if I do have any of your images, will be taken as constructive criticism, and not that I'm in any way talking down. So anyways, that's kind of the intro. Let's go to the scaling system now. Excuse me. All right. Is going to be a snapshot. It's kind of like You just took it with your iPhone, okay? Or that's as good as it is. And we really want to avoid these because as technology gets better and better, if our images don't look better than an iPhone, we're not going to sell on PhotoDay. Now, people are using paper order forms. They can still kind of get away with that because the parents don't get to see the images before they buy. But when you're dealing with PhotoDay, you have to have great images that are better than what a parent can do, so that way you can sell images, okay? So we want to stay away from one. 2 is picture day. That's kind of like leveled up a little bit, maybe some lighting, maybe on-camera flash. You can tell it's done by a professional, but you know it's lacking. Again, paper order form style, not really built for PhotoDay. 3 is going to be order ready. You're going to be successful with PhotoDay. Maybe we could do a little improvements here, but it's going to sell and you're going to make money. All right. Sharpshooter number 4. You can tell that it's done by a pro. That's the thing that I really emphasize with my staff is we want to look pro. Okay. You want to separate yourself from a parent photographer or an iPhone. And those are the photos we want to be at least at 4 on almost all of our images. Number 5, we have a money shot. That's going to be a PD 100. Those are the images that those are going to be ones that you're going to get a PD 100. Parents want to print out, want to hang it on their wall. They're going to post it all over social media. 5 is what we're after. Okay, so that is the grading system. So let's go ahead and start it out. Mel, let's go with the first image. Okay, all right, we have a composite. All right, just what I said that I don't do, but let's go over this one. All right. Okay, so this is this image. We have a lot of flat lighting going on. Okay, now if you really take a look at that image, there's not much going on in the way of lighting. Okay, there may have been a flash used. I can see some shadows underneath the chin, but it's generally pretty flat. Something you could get. This is one that the actual photo of the athlete, you could probably accomplish that with an iPhone if you're in a shady area and take the photo. I don't see really much catch light in his eyes, and we don't have any edge lights. It's just basically blasting light towards the athlete. Now, I wouldn't give it a 1 because the graphics are great. The graphics look good. I like the half body on the composites. So we're looking at probably, I would say, we're at a 2 right here, okay? Will it, well, maybe a 3. Will it sell on PhotoDay? It's possible because the graphics are good. But if we can improve this image, maybe if you just had the lighting as it is, the pose looks pretty good, but I'd like to see a little tilt down of the chin and maybe a little tilt to the head to give it a little attitude. If you look at any of the images that we do, a tilt to the head is really what really takes the photo from being average to giving it a little bit of attitude, okay? So chin down, eyes up, and a little tilt is going to make a big difference in this image right here. But I would work on the lighting. Let's get some more dynamic lighting. I like to use short side lighting with a little edge light. Just don't forget, you still have to light your photos really nicely, even if you're doing composite work. Okay? Oh, my bad. I got to go here. We're going to go today. Okay, we got a 2 on this one. All right, very good. Let's go over to the next image. Okay, this one, this is kind of a tough one. I'm not quite sure if this is a volume shoot. This is probably more of the seniors or a specialty style shoot, but I'm assuming that it's sold on PhotoDay, so it qualifies. It's tough with these big flags because the photo gets very wide. When the photo gets that wide, then you have to have a bigger crop area. So you see we have a lot of room at the feet there that's kind of dark, what leads to the athlete. The smoke is done pretty good. We can get a little bit more contrast in the smoke. It looks like there's maybe just one light behind the athlete. So you see as the smoke goes out towards the edges, you lose the color there. So maybe you might want to do 2 lights from behind out of frame to make sure you kind of evenly light that smoke or as much as possible. So we have the one hot spot that's kind of pink. And then the colors that we really like are right here. We want this color right here to fill up more of the frame. So this kind of gets to where it just looks like it doesn't have any saturation right there. So what I think I might do here, and I love the flags, but right here we're close. here, but maybe you go a little bit of a lower angle, and maybe we can tilt those flags, go a little bit more vertical, so that way you can crop it a little bit tighter and you don't have so much room at the feet. With lacrosse, we get a lot where you have the big long sticks. I was trying to look for a photo. I couldn't find one with 2 flags, but maybe even stake the flags down by the side, and so the flags kind of come straight down instead of going so wide. That way you have a little bit more room, so you can crop it tighter. And also, I would consider possibly a lower angle for this one. This is kind of like a hero shot. All that being said, I think this photo would really, I'm sure this athlete loves this image. It really pops. This is not something a parent can do on their own. So I think that we're going to go here. Let's see. I'm going to give this one. This one is a 3. We're going to go order ready. That one is going to be successful on photo day. Okay, let's go over the next image. Okay, another smoke photo. We can't get away from smoke. Everybody loves smoke. So they're very popular with our customers. Everybody wants smoke and lights. And this one's done pretty well. The only issues that I have, I like to pose. It's a little bit of a crotch shot. Okay, we got to be careful with that. But he has black shorts, so it's not too bad. The only thing I would watch here is, you see here, the smoke is good here. We have good coverage on the smoke. Okay, really, really nice. I love these little wispies that you get. The smoke is done really well. I think that I might turn that light down a little bit, because the only issue I have with this image is these highlights in the hair right here are really, if you backlight, you're going to have this issue with hair in his ears. So you can see his ears are really bright right there, and maybe we get a little bit more light on his face. All right, so you kind of have to be careful with that. Again, maybe lighting that, the athlete, you might want the backlights to be slightly out of frame, so that way you don't get such highlights on the ears and hair. But smoke's done really well. I like to pose, maybe a little bit more light on the face here. All right, so we're going to go with this one here. This one is a little bit better than order ready. This one is going to do really well. Okay, how we doing? All right, let's go our next image here. Okay. All right, so I really like this image. I like the pose. It's fantastic. The lighting is really good. As you can see, that looks like we have a highlight on the hair right there. So we have a good hair light right there. We probably have another light over here, just camera right. It's good expression. Can't tell if we have tape on the floor there, but that's okay. Still a great image. The smoke is good. This one I couldn't decide if this one, the smoke was added, or if it's actually smoke that they used atmospheric aerosol or something like that. I couldn't really tell if this is natural smoke or not, but looks good. I mean, I think this is a great image. I think the parents would love this photo. I love the low angle. The goals lit up nice, really good. So I do think that this one here is going to be a PD 100 right here. Great shot. Okay. All right. This image, I really love the pose here. I love the pose. The hair looks good. I like that it's a cheer pose, but you can definitely tell it's basketball. Incorporating a basketball as a prop for cheer is great. I love that. So I love everything about the athlete here on this image. The only thing that I don't like about the image is the background, okay? I know we're trying to light up that goal, but the problem that we're having is the light is going to be, it's closer to the athlete shooting back towards the back wall, okay? So if you have a light that's going to shoot towards the back wall, you're going to light everything up back there. Now, it looks like we have a shallow depth of field. Maybe this was shot at 2.8 or f4 or something like that, because at least you can't read the writing on the banners back there. But the issue that I have is this gigantic shadow of a basketball goal right here, and kind of that door is kind of bright. The background is just a little bit messy. So I think what I would do to change this image is I might move just a little bit to the left of the left. I'd slide a little bit left, have that basketball goal maybe come over on the opposite shoulder, and then light the goal from back here going back across this way, so you don't see so many shadows. It'll kind of take the shadows all the way out of the frame if you do that. So the image is great, just the background is a little bit distracting, the way they lit that goal, and that whole wall is lit up. So the trick that we kind of use with basketball is that we just do we take a grid. Just take a grid so you have a very small beam of light, and so that way we can really darken out that background. Let me see if I have not sure if I have a sample here of a basketball goal. Here we go. We'll look at this image right here. Let's see. Can you see that, Mel? Does it pop up? Let's go this one here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so you see right here is it kind of gets rid of that background if you place your background light in an area where it's not gonna cast a big shadow across your background. So we had the light on camera right there on a grid, and we want to darken that background as much as possible so the athlete really pops. So just be careful with your background light there. Pay attention to your shadows so that way they don't distract your image. All right, so I would say that this one here, it's close. Can I give it like a 4.5? I mean, it's really good. I think that the parents are gonna love the image. I'm being picky with the background, so we're right in between 4 and a 5 there. Great image. Okay. Wrestling is really hard. Okay. I'll just go ahead and say that there's not very many poses. It's a difficult sport to do. The buy rate is not very good. The average order is not very good, but you do typically have a lot of athletes. So for us, it is definitely worth doing. Sometimes you get in a bad spot. So we probably didn't have access to the wrestling room, and they smell really bad anyway. So finding an alternative location is good. I love the pose. The lighting is fantastic. It looks like we have one light, maybe camera right, and then we have an edge light, camera left. Athlete looks great. Love the pose. Love the expression. It's tough when you have those lines back there, those benches. It almost looks like the photo's a little bit tilted, but still a great image. The only thing that I have a kind of an issue with right here is these marks on the ground. If we could slide one way or the other to get rid of these marks, we're not standing on these little gold plates right here, that would be a good thing. But overall, I think this is a great image. And the other thing is it does look like this one is shot maybe at 5.6 or f8. If we can shoot with a little bit shallower depth of field to kind of knock this background out of focus, my athlete might pop a little bit more. Okay. So I'd go a little bit shallower depth of field, move the athletes off these plates. You always have to pay attention to what's on the ground near the athlete. You want that to be nice and clean. So maybe we can move, a little bit left or right to get rid of these plates back here. But I think this is, other than that, I think this is a great image. I would give this one sharpshooter, really good. Again, that's like a 4.5. This might be a PD 100 as well. Great pose, great lighting. Okay. This is a beautiful image. I love this image. I hate being picky about it. The athlete is beautiful. The pose is great. Again, track and field is another one that's really hard. I think I just saw a post on Facebook this week about how bad participation is with track and field, and which is true. So it's a tough sport. There's not very many poses you can do. You can maybe use some of the I forget what you call those things. The hurdles. You can use the hurdles or maybe a baton. This is a great image. But here's what I would do a little bit different here. So we see we've got this fence in the back. Mel, can you see my mouse move when we're going here?
No, we can't. Nope.
Okay. All right. So the back, we probably want to put that athlete in between those posts. If you have to do anything, I would move camera right if you have to shoot at this particular angle. Okay. But with track and field, the one thing you always have working for you, as you have automatic leading lines. Okay. So we want to use those lines of the track to create a really cool looking image. Okay. So we're shooting across the track. So that's a little bit of an issue. Maybe the sun was to her back and that's why we had to do that. So it's important if you're going to shoot environmental photos, you have to have a way to shade the athlete so you can get a good background 100% of the time. So if that's the case, we had to shoot because it looks like the sun might be camera left. left, right on her hair there. And we have the light on camera right. If we had to stay there because we don't have shade, I would maybe move to the right a little bit and put the athlete right in between those fence posts right there, because we have fence posts that are coming up straight between her legs, and we want to get rid of that. Okay. Let's see. I just did track last week, and let me see here. Let me see if I can pull that image up for you guys. Let me pull it over here. Okay, so you can see there, I'm using the leading lines right there. This particular photo, I got lucky here to where I did have the sun in the right spot. It's a little harsh, the shadows, camera left there, but I use those lines all the time in track to make sure that I have some leading lines into the athlete. There's not much else that you can do with the background and track. This is lower angle, I realize, but we go through progressions at smaX. So I did do one from eye level, and we do from the ground as well. But use those leading lines if you can. I'm assuming that the sun placement is the why we shot across the track like that. So if that's the case, really consider getting a scrim so that way you can put that athlete wherever you want. Okay, but this is a beautiful image. I think that this one is we're gonna give this one. This was definitely a 4. You're gonna get a good sale out of that one. All right. Okay. Love this image too. I mean, this athlete, she's beautiful. I love the pose. She kind of has her finger hooked into her belt right there. But this is things like we typically like to have, grabbing of the hip. But if she came up here and she did that, she looks great. So we're going to break the rules for this because I love the pose. All right. The 6 is a little bit crinkled up, but still, I mean, you can still tell it's number 6, and her facial expression is fantastic. She just kind of has that confident smirk, and I love that. The only issue that I have here is that it's a little harsh on our lighting. The face looks good, but you see we have, can you zoom in at all, Mel? Can we zoom in at all on the face on that? I don't know if we're able to do that. But
I don't think so.
Okay.
But we do actually have a question for you regarding your previous image of how far up from the ground is your camera when you're shooting your track athlete?
It's on the ground. On the ground. It's all the way on the ground. So we use Canon and Sony. We use the flip screen, and we're sitting on the ground for most of our images. Some we're not, maybe softball, volleyball. With girls, we might be sitting on a chair or something. But for younger athletes, we want to make them look larger than life. So we actually put the camera all the way on the ground to get that really epic hero shot. But we do a progression. So we do eye level, so it looks more standard like this photo, and then we go from the ground. So we give parents lots of options on what to buy. Okay. So this light looks like there wasn't a softbox used. It looks like it was a hard light. So maybe just a reflector, which I get because, we're at a bright sunny day. And if you want to get a blue sky, you have to have a lot of power in your light. So it looks like we're shooting a shallow depth of field because I can't read the signs back there. We have a nice blurred out background. So we're probably shooting at f2.8, f4. But we have those harsh shadows from her arm and going across her face. They can be softened up a little bit with a softbox. The way you would accomplish that look is by using a really powerful light. You can get a 1200 watt light that can balance your ambient light in your subject. Or my new favorite thing is if you have a global shutter with Sony, you can really control the background easily, even with a lower powered light. So you have to decide, do you want to get more powerful lights, or do you want to get a global camera with a global shutter? Either one of those would allow you to use a softbox and still have that same look, so those shadows aren't quite as harsh across her chest and on her nose. But overall, this is a beautiful image. This one here is going to be, money shot. Okay, perfect, thanks. Yeah, you see that's a little bit harsh right there. Okay, it's not soft. It goes from dark shadow to bright, but still, it's such a good photo. I'm being picky here, just some suggestions on how you can get a little bit of a softer light. Okay, all right, love this. Another great image. This is beautiful. I'm just gonna be picky on how we're judging this. Not sure why the basketball goal is not in the image here. We're just going to assume that wasn't available. If you have and the athlete's kind of close, it looks like they're inside the 3-point line. If you pulled the athlete away, you might have be able to get the basketball goal in there. Also, what I do a lot if I have a youth basketball is I'll just ask them to lower the goal. If it's a 10-foot goal, you can lower it to 9 foot, and that extra foot will allow you to get more of your smaller athletes. You get that goal in the image. Also, putting the camera on the ground does help here as well. Now, the only thing that I might do a little different here is she's pretty square to the camera. I like to be a little bit of an angle. We use short side lighting. And if you look at her face there, we're lighting on the broad side. So there's short side lighting, there's broad side lighting. So short side is going to be camera left, okay? From her nose to her ear, that's the short side. On this image in particular, we're using broadside lighting. So you can see we're lighting the camera right side of her face, okay? That's the longer side. Now, with this athlete, you don't have to really worry about it because they have no extra weight. But if you light short side, that helps slim up the athlete a little bit, okay? It's a little bit more pleasing to the eye. So I would go turn a little bit and light the short side of the face. That's my personal preference. Maybe this photographer likes the broadside lighting, but it is a beautiful image. Let me see if I have an example of short side lighting here to show. Let me see. Okay. All right. We can show that image there. Okay. So you see I'm lighting camera left, that side of the face. So you can see from nose to the ear, that's the short side. The long side, the camera right, that's the broad side. Okay. That's where we have a little highlight there. So my main light is camera left, and I have a little edge light camera right. As you can see, we have a basketball goal back there. You can see a little bit better on my screen, but we black out that background. So the goal is just there. You just know it's basketball, but that's a little bit more pleasing to the eye, the short side lighting. But again, that's personal preference. Is still a beautiful image. That one, let's see, we're going to do, I would definitely think this one is going to be a money shot. This could be a PD 100 right here. Good image. Okay. All right. So we have kind of a semi-action going on. These ones are tough. This is tough to do. This is probably kids like, hey, I want to do action photo. It's really hard to accomplish this. This looks like they're using a pretty short focal length and don't have a lot of space there. It looks like from her foot to the backdrop, not a lot of space there. These are kind of like my least favorite photos to do in a volume environment. To do this really right, you need some time. You need a lot of space so you can back up and zoom in to make it really look good. And as you can see there, her hand is lit up really bright. That's where the light is coming from. Looks like there's another light, maybe camera right. It's a great image. I'm sure that the parents like this one, but action is difficult because this is the thing is you have to, if you're going to do action, you have to have an extensive light setup. James Quantz Jr. does this as good as anybody, where he can set up. He does a lot of South Carolina Gamecocks photos, and they have a lot of action. But he has literally like 16 lights that he has around the athlete, so he can cut lights on and off to get the look that he wants. If you don't have that, if you only have a couple of lights, you're moving lights every shot to get the light to hit just right. And so it's really hard to do in a volume setting. That being said, this is a great image. It's just for volume, it's tough to do. I would back up and zoom in and maybe get a little bit lower. So that way this image looks a little bit more epic. It looks like the photographer was maybe standing up using a short focal length, and the hand right there is kind of prominent in the photo. It's right next to the light there, so it's very bright and it's kind of coming at you, okay? So this is a tough one. I still think it's good. I still think it'll go well. We're going to give that one a 4. Excuse me.
And Jay, we got a couple of questions. Do you have time to clarify?
Yeah. Let's
All right.
go.
So the first one is camera right. What do you mean by that?
Okay, so if I'm looking at the camera, hopefully everybody seems the same orientation that I am. If I'm seeing camera right, it would be to the right of the subject on the screen, if that makes sense. So the athlete in this particular photo, she is looking down camera left. Does that make sense? Camera right would be her hand, and camera left would be the soccer ball.
Perfect. And then we have another question from Dion. How far are you from your subjects when you do your shots?
Typically, I want to be in the 100 millimeter range. Okay. I don't know. I learned somewhere that's the where the eye sees kind of accurate. So typically, I like to be 100 millimeters. So if we have tall athletes, I have to move my chair back. If we have small athletes, I move my chair up. I want to be in that area 100 millimeters so I can get full body. So that way, when I want to zoom in, I can get a really tight close up. Okay. If I'm too far back, then I get a hard time getting a really nice close up on the face. Okay. So what we do is we try to have, we do one pose per athlete, maybe two, and we just operate really fast. Okay. So that means that if we have different looks. So we do full body, half body, smiles, game face. And we go from the ground, full body, half body, smile, game face. And we're going to change the orientation of the camera. So it's the same pose, but the photos look completely different. Okay. When you have, one team every 10 minutes per photographer and you're doing it for hours and hours, doing multiple poses, you're going to get behind. So we do one pose, multiple looks, and we sit in an area where I can just shoot 100 millimeters full body. And that allows me to still have enough focal length to zoom in on the eyes to get that good half body shot to give parents really good options on their photos.
Right. Perfect. And let's go to the next one.
Okay. Oh, I didn't even see, we have, ghost volleyball. That's pretty cool. Okay. So you see, I didn't see that in the first, you see the, up in the camera left, we have, the ghost volleyball. That looks pretty cool. So I'm assuming that's just a background that is put in there. It's not actual smoke. I like this photo. It looks like this is kind of like a clamshell type lighting where we have a light coming that's going to be above the athlete. It looks pretty good. And I think that I might like to have a little bit of a hair light. Okay. So you have a dark background, a lot of dark colors there. So maybe if we can separate the athlete a little bit from the background, maybe having a hair light there. You do get a little bit of hair light from that main light. But what it looks like here, you did a trick where you zoomed in. Can you do that again to his face?
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Keep talking.
Okay, so the only problem I have here is his eyes get really dark there. I really can't see any catch light in his eyes. And you want to have that little bit of a catch light. It just is more pleasing. It's more natural. Like when you take a photo of somebody out in the sun, you can see the sun reflecting in their eyes. And we don't have that. His eyes kind of get dark back there. But it's a great pose. I know the kids probably like to, I don't know all the little things that they like to do, but it's a good pose. I definitely think this photo will sell. I might put a hair light there and maybe get that light, that main light a little bit lower so we can see that cat. If you can do that light straight above the athlete, get it low enough to where we can see, yeah, you can see a little catch light there. We want to see a little bit more catch light in the eyes right there. It's possible too, we could just tilt the head down just a little bit so the eyes open up. If you have your head up, the eyes get smaller. But if we tilt that head down, then the eyes open up a little bit. Okay, so we'd like to do head down, eyes up, so we make sure we can see those eyes and get that nice catch light. Oh, we need to judge this one. I think I want to give this one a 4. Really good. Most of these photos are really good, so I'm excited. Okay. All right. Well, the first thing, they're kind of cheating because this athlete is really beautiful. I think she can probably do any pose. She's going to look great. The lighting on this photo is really good. I mean, if I'm being super picky, maybe the smoke could go up a little bit higher, but the way that smoke frames the athlete is really nice. I'd be interested to know if that's composited or that's actual smoke. It looks really good. The pose I'm okay with. It's, again, that's like not a pose that I would choose, but I'm sure the athlete, they came up with that. Whenever the athlete comes up with their own pose they want to do and is doable, that's typically going to sell. So I'll take it. Now, if we can zoom in on her face, this is really good to compare the last photo with this photo, because this one, you can really see the catch light in her eyes. It's the same thing. The lighting's from above coming down. And I see some orange highlights in her hair. So I do think this is all done in camera. It's not a composite. Looks really good. Are you zooming in? If you notice, like that lighting position is a little bit better than the last one. It carves her face out a little bit. It's not quite as flat, and we see the catch light in her eyes. And she does have her chin tilted down a little bit, which opens up her eyes. Yeah, there it is. So you see that beautiful catch light right there? That's done really well. That's a great photo. We're doing that one. That was PD 100 all the way. Great shot. Okay. All right. So I'm not quite sure of this one again. I'm not sure about the smoke. If this was, it looks like that one. I don't know. That probably had to be composited smoke because I can see the background and I can see the mat on the ground and there's no light in between. Looks like it's pretty close to the background. Okay. This is a good photo. It's a little flat for my liking, meaning the light is coming straight at the athlete. And what you have a couple issues here. When you have that light going straight at the athlete, I can see some rolls in the backdrop back there. It's because it's flat lighting. You have everything going straight at the athlete. There's no real, not a lot of shadow or depth on him. I think that the light is camera, looks like it's camera right. Because we have a little bit of shadow on camera left. Okay. I'm not a big fan of doing square photos. Okay. I like to turn the athlete at one angle or the other. In this particular situation, I would turn the athlete where the gloves up front and the bat's in the back. Cause if you went the other way, the bat would be coming across his face or across his uniform. So you wouldn't want to do that. Okay. So I think I would turn this athlete a little bit. And again, he's straight on. We like to have a little tilt down and a little head tilted just a little bit to have a little bit more of a dynamic image. Let me see if I got one here. Let me see here. We'll go. Okay. We'll take a look at this athlete here. Okay. So we have the little tilt there. I'm not sure how you guys are seeing on my screen, but she has the ball is actually in her right hand on this image. But as you can see there, we have a little bit of an angle. The head's tilted down, eyes are up, and they have a little bit more dynamic lighting here. We have lighting the short side of the face again, which is camera left, and we have a highlight on the right there. All right. Now, to me, that just looks like a little bit more attitude. Okay. The image we're looking at, it's a good photo, but I think if we just turn the athlete a little bit, do a little bit better job with our lighting, that this photo is going to really take a jump. But this is a great photo. I'm going to give this one. This one is right between a 3 and a 4. All right. This is like a 3.5. It's definitely going to get an order, but we have to clean up this background by moving our lights around to make sure that we don't capture all the stuff on the ground and the wrinkles in the background. Okay. Okay. All right. So this is a composited background. The very first image we had was flat lighting. Okay. We had a nice background, nice graphics, but we had no, it was very flat lighting. This is the opposite. This is done really well here. We've got, looks like we have a light. We have 2 edge lights, one camera left and right. And then we have our main light there. So you can kind of see a highlight there on both sides of the face. That looks really good. Excuse me. Pose is good. I'm not crazy about the flag. That's kind of optional. I mean, flag football, there's only so many things you can do, so many props. You don't have a helmet, that sort of thing. So I get it. I can't stand the mouthpiece. All right. But I know this athlete probably loves his mouthpiece and he wants it in the photo. So if they want that, you're going to sell the image. So that's good. Thank you. But this composite is done really well. He's framed up the athlete good. I like the lighting on the face. The pose is good. He's holding the football really nice. It looks like he's going to throw the ball. So yeah, everything looks good here. This is just, I'm assuming the athlete wanted this. I'm not going to give it a 5 because I don't like the mouthpiece, but that's just me. So we'll go 4 here. Okay, a little bit different, kind of the same pose. Lighting again is really good. You can tell they have 2 edge lights on both left and right side, and a main light. Great expression. The hair looks great. It's highlighted. I love the bedazzled football. The pose is good. Yeah, I mean, not much I would do different here. Uh, Maybe push the ball out a little bit so we can see her number a little bit better. If we push that ball out, we want to tilt it towards them. What I always tell athletes, we have the ball out in front. We push that ball away from the chest and tilt it back, almost like you're taking a drink out of the football. Okay, but overall, this is a great image. There's really not much. I would be totally happy with this photo. I think the parents would. This is definitely a PD 100 territory. All right. Okay. These two photos, there's two back to back on this white backdrop. Yep. I love the backdrop. The kind of a simple, clean look, and I'm sure that this is the parents love this photo. I think the only issue I have here, this one looks a little tilted, like she's going downhill a little bit. So we could maybe straighten it out a touch. The lighting's good. We have two edge lights on both sides of the face. I guess I would just work on the expressions right here. Okay. So you can see her both ones, the head's kind of tilted up. It's a great image. I really like both of them, but if we tilted that head down and tilt, go back to the other one. Yeah, if we just tilt that head down, we have head down, eyes up, that'd be really good. But again, it's really hard to do action photos and get everybody's facial expressions looking just right. Okay, so it's really hard to do. So I like this image, but she just looks a little uninterested right here. Maybe just a little more attitude, maybe tilt that ball down, and maybe she could tilt her head one way or the other. Just experiment with it. Also, it's just a little bit crooked, but overall, I think this is really a good image. I'm sure the parents love that one. That one is a 4. All right, so let's go to the next one. Same thing here. I love this photo, but I think if we tilt that head down and tilt it a little bit this way, she might give a little more attitude. But she might like this photo. She's a teenager. Maybe she wants to look like she's too cool. But I would like just a little bit more from the eyes here. She just looks a little bit, again, a little uninterested. Let me see if I have one that kind of looks when I did the other day. It's close. I tried to find something that was a little bit close to that. I love the squatting poses. Anything that's, it's easy to do if they're standing up. It's easy to get a second pose. Let me just see you squat. I like to see what they do naturally, because this particular photo I took, I saw her doing this while she was waiting in line. I was like, don't forget that pose. I want you to do that exact pose when you come up here. Okay. Now, I think the biggest difference here is that she has a little smirk on her face. She looks like she's kind of excited to be playing. The basketball player looks more like maybe a model shoot, maybe a fashion photo where she's just looking really cool and kind of, uninterested. Like she's awesome. I don't know how to explain it, but it's a great photo. I love the white backdrop is done well. Just maybe experiment with the tilting of the head and give a little bit more of a smirk if possible. I know it's hard to do, but yeah, I'm being picky about that photo, but I do think that one, giving that one a 4. Okay. I love this pose. This is a great pose. I think that might be a composite because we have a little bit of, looks like some smoke back there. Either smoke or it's just like a gradient where light's hitting a black background. I can't really tell. But this image is great. I'm assuming that we have some images here where he's not cut off, where we have the whole athlete. But I think the point of this image is that the stick is going to frame his face. He has a great smile. I love the highlights in the face. It might be a little hot. We could go down a little bit on the edge lights. But overall, it looks like, can't tell where the light is, maybe above him or a little bit camera right. And we have 2 edge lights. But the main thing here is that smile. That smile is fantastic. The way he's holding the stick, which can be hard to do, frames his face up really nicely. You're just drawn right into his face. I think this is a great image. That's going to be a PD 100 for sure. All right. Okay, I haven't seen this one yet. Okay. Yeah, I like this one too. It's a great image. A few things I might do here. So he is, we're squared up. Not a huge fan of being squared up, as you know, but still works. It looks like we have one light camera left and an edge light camera right. That's a little bit hot on that side, so we maybe could bring that down a little bit. I love the background. That composite looks really good. What they're doing here is putting a little haze around the athlete to kind of separate the athlete from the background. It's beautiful, beautiful background. The only issue that I might have here is that we could take this glove here and we can move it down just a little bit, pop those elbows out a touch, lower the glove a little bit so we can see the entire logo across his chest. We can see Braves right there. So again, and the head is another issue here. If we lowered that head and we would open up the eyes a little bit and he'd look a little bit more intimidating. This is more of a game face. He's kind of up here. I like that head to be a little bit lower and we're looking into the camera. Head down, eyes up is a little bit more intimidating. So I might lower the glove a little bit, lower that head, and we're in business. But I love the background. The background is awesome. It works really well for this photo. Not really sure, like this is probably, I don't know if you could do a whole league like this. But maybe you can, but you'd have to change the, you have the name and he has, so a little more work done on this. Maybe this is a specialty shoot or just one team. For volume, that'd be kind of hard to do if you had 80 teams to switch the name for each one. Not sure if that's possible, but this one here, it's 4.5, between 4.5 and 5. I think I'll just lower that chin, maybe lower that glove a little bit so that way you can see more of the Braves. How we doing on time? How we do? All right.
You're good. That was our last image.
Okay.
So now we just have the boot camp and a couple of questions.
Sure. Okay. I guess we can go boot camp first. I guess this is really an official announcement. So we're doing Boatwright boot camp. This is December 4th through 6th. It is an intensive boot camp. I really feel like this is more than just lighting. It's basically, we open up our entire business to people who want to learn about volume photography. We're fortunate in the area of the country we are. All we do is sports. I don't do family photos. I don't do weddings. All we do is sports. We have gigantic sports leagues all around the metro area, and thankfully, we have most of them. So given that, we get lots of practices. So we have real systems, whether it's our lighting systems, the way we shoot with our camera, Carinna, her sales system, scheduling, attaining leagues. We have systems built for everything, and we share that with the entire class. It's a lot of information. If you really want to level up, we've had photographers who are just starting out, all the way to photographers with literally 40 years experience, and they all get something good from the class. In fact, it's so much, about 20 to 30% of our attendees are return boot campers. And I promise you, it's not because I'm a terrible teacher. Me and my wife, Carinna, are a terrible teacher.
Unshare your screen.
Unshare my screen? Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay. Promise you, it's not because we're not good at teaching. It's just so much content we get in those 2.5 days that people, they start implementing what they learn at boot camp, and then they get better and they come back to learn even more, or they bring staff members. It's great. And we really concentrate a lot on posing. All right. Posing is a big deal. I just saw a comment in Facebook of somebody who shoots in a trailer and they're getting tired. They're getting bored of same poses. They're used doing composites. I do like natural backgrounds because every shoot is different. So it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of different challenges when you're shooting in a natural environment compared to composites. Just my preference. But posing is something I'll just don't think you ever master. Every year I find a little something different, and I share it with my boot campers on how we do that. Not only after we have the boot camp, which is 2.5 days, but you also have access to the boot camp community. So you continue your education. We put you in a good group. That way we can constantly talk with other photographers throughout the country, get ideas, sales strategies, posing, just continuing the education, because we can never stop learning. We're always improving, and the boot camp is a great place if you want to level up your volume sports photography. Is the best place to learn. We're not just lighting. We're doing volume sports, and you get the whole business. We open up everything to you. Okay. We have questions?
Yes, we do have a couple of questions. One is actually a request. If you can share your screen again Because
Okay.
we have Kyle asking if you can show an example of an athlete with multiple looks, not poses.
Multiple looks, not poses. Yeah. Okay. We'll go with this guy here. Okay, this is my first image of this particular shoot. All right, so this is Bo Jackson pose. We typically call it. This is probably our most popular baseball pose. So we have a smile right here. This is from the eye. Okay, we do black and whites for everything PhotoDay to give parents the option. This is the same photo, but black and white. Then we go. So we did full body from the eye, half body. So we're zoomed in. Okay. Same thing. This is shot with f2. So this is Sony 50 to 150. So you can see we had cars in the background here. So this is really good to have shallow depth of field because you can see that his face and his bat are in focus, the front of his bat, but his hand is out of focus. That's how tight we get here. All right, then we're going to go. This is landscape, half body landscape. Okay, so there's 3 different images right there. All right. So you can kind of see the cars in the background there, but not really because we have such shallow depth of field. So we went full body from the eye. We did half body portrait. Then we did half body landscape. Okay. Then we go from the ground, full body portrait orientation. Okay. So it looks completely different. If you look here, all right, we got a half body, a little bit of the field, and then we get kind of a hero shot. You see more of the field. Okay. Then we got, all right, same thing here. In this particular league, you can see the cars there to the right there. This particular league, this was really busy. This was one team every 10 minutes for 6 hours. So we had to move very fast, okay? And for this one, just with the little kids, we know they're going to sell the best, okay? So what I typically like to do is I need something super easy and fun for them. So they have their bat back here, and then I'm like, okay, put the bat on your shoulder, give me a muscle. All right, so that gives us the muscle shot right there. Okay, so I don't know how many images that was. That was probably maybe 14 photos if we include black and white. This little guy here, it's a little bit different. Let me see if I can see one. And so a lot of times what we have here is we might have this guy here. All right, so we're starting from the ground. This is my favorite photo, landscape from the ground. Then we go half body and go with a muscle photo. All right. And then what we have here is this particular league. We gave a buddy shot to all the coaches. Okay. So then we went 2 poses and a buddy shot. So we're moving really, really fast. Okay. Let me see if I can show. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, so that was just a little extra pose that we did. Now, a little story about that is that we did, so you see we do full body, half body, then we turn the camera, full body, half body. We could put it on the ground, full body, half body. And then we mix in smiles and game faces there. With the little guys, if they have a great smile, I'm sticking with a smile. Mom's going to love the smile. If I feel like they can do a game face, we'll do that. This particular shoot, we're very busy, so we had to go fast. So some I did, some I didn't. But I did like putting that muscle pose in there, okay? That muscle pose is great. Make a muscle, point at the camera, and make a peace sign. Whatever you can do that's really fast, okay? You can't have a bat and then do a bat and glove because then we got to put the bat and glove, then we got to put the glove on. So it just takes too much time. If you're going to do multiple poses, you have to do something that can be done in seconds and really fast. Now, since we've been shooting with the Sony, that has really sped things up. We can shoot so fast that it allows me to do a second pose. We can do the muscle pose because it's so quick. With the Canon R3, which I really love, is a great camera, I have to wait 2 to 3 seconds before images because the lights are set at half power, full power. So I have to wait for them to recharge before I can take the next photo. When you have a global shutter, you can take photos immediately. So that it gives you a few extra seconds per athlete, which will allow you to do that second pose. So if you need speed and you have everything dialed in, global shutter is great. But if you are just kind of starting and want to make sure that you have everything dialed in, just stick with one pose, smiles, game faces, and change the orientation of your camera. So that way you're giving your parents a lot of options. And what we've done here recently is we have really focus on the buy all. If you take a lot of images fast and you give parents a lot of options and they love them all, they're just going to buy all the photos. Okay. So we've incorporated that. That's why we put the muscle pose in there, the pointing pose in there. So that way we have more options, more buy alls, more PD100s.
So, all right. We got a couple more questions.
Sure.
First one, composites, if you live in a colder climate.
Yeah, so sure. If you do composites, I think, again, I have no problems with composites. I think what I would systemize in that particular case is a dramatic photo. Okay. I'll see if I can find one as I'm talking here, but you're kind of limited when you're inside because you don't have the background to do different things. A lot of times you don't want to get the feet because then you have to worry about the feet and making that, blend into the composite. So you're only doing half body. So you're a little bit limited on what you can do. So what I would do is I would invest in another light or two. And if you can quickly turn the athlete so you can have something that's a little bit more dramatic. Okay. So you can have the straight photo, of course, angled a little bit, but then maybe we want to cut lights on and off. If we cut lights on and off, then we can do something pretty cool. So let me see if I can pull something up kind of as a sample. Let's see here. We want to go to, give me 1 second. So we had this one situation where we have all-stars. So we have these kids that take their rec league photos and they come and do their all-star photos. So it's the same kid, except they have different uniforms. So in that case, I don't want to go through the same photos because I'm in the business of selling photos. So I want to have the parents have lots of options here. So I'll set up another light or I'll move the athlete if I don't have access to the light or I don't have time. In this case, I just moved the athlete. So if I was doing composite photos, I would find a way to have a really different look that I could do quickly. Give me 1 second. I think I can find one. Let's see here. Almost there. Okay, here we go. All right. So what we're going to do on this particular league, let's see, we have some all-stars here. Okay. So what I did is I just moved the athlete up on this particular photo.
You're not sharing your screen, Jay.
Okay, here we go. All right. So we just did something like that. Okay, so we did a profile photo. So we have the straight on photo, and then we just turn the athlete. Okay, let's see if I have the color. Yeah, so we just turn the athlete. All right, so that way you can get multiple different looks quick. Okay, so if they're right here, all right, and then all they have to do is turn sideways, and then you have another light that you can cut on, and you cut your main light off, and then you get different lighting set up. Totally different look on your image that allow you to do multiple looks for your parents so they have more to choose from.
Awesome. All right, we got 2 minutes left, so let's see if we can rapid fire answer some of these.
Okay, got it. Sorry, I take a long time. How do you deal with location shots and 40 plus athletes and light changing and all? Do you limit the or people to a lot of people? Okay, so I guess the question is basically how you're shooting a lot of athletes. How you do it quick with the light changing? So you have to control the ambient light. That's the whole thing. You have to control when you get to the shoot. You have to figure out where the ambient light. Where's the sun going to be? Okay, I have an app on my phone where I track the sun, so I can see exactly where the sun's going to be throughout the shoot. And I pick the best spot where I'm in the best background, and I can control the ambient. Best case scenarios, the sun's at their back, so you can light accordingly. But if you have a long shoot where it's going to be, 6 or 7 hours, you can't control, the light's going to change. So you have to be able to control it through scrims. All right, you have to shade your athlete. That's super important. If you can create some shade, then you're controlling the ambient light. So if you need to be able to control, like I said, if you're going to control light the whole time, invest in a good scrim. Talk to John Scott, Robert's camera. He'll tell you what you need for a volume shoot. So that way you can control that ambient.
All right. Next question. No? Are you standing up,
okay.
sitting down, or how do you move that camera?
Well, if you're sitting down, it almost looks like you're standing up, but we're sitting down. We stay sitting. Okay. So we're just sitting from here. And then when you change and you go all the way to the ground, it's surprising how much of a difference in elevation that looks like. We're only moving the camera maybe 2 feet, but it's a big change in the photo. So we're always sitting down and shooting up towards the athlete. If you have issues with that, if you have girls who don't like that, like for volleyball, for cheer, we're going to sit on a chair and we're not going to get that super low angle. But for most youth athletes, we're sitting on the ground and shooting up and then just moving the camera all the way to the ground and laying it on the ground.
All right. And last question is, do you do team shots also?
Oh yeah. Yes. a lot of team shots. And if we're doing a big league day, where we have, 50 plus teams, we're basically just stacking the teams into 3 levels. Okay. So for example, you have a baseball team, you have 12 kids, 3 coaches. That's going to be 15 total. So we'll put the coach in the middle. So you divide that by 3. You have 13. Okay. You have 13. You have to go 4, 5, 4. We put everybody in gaps and then we light it really nicely. If we want to do a great job and have it look super pro, what we'll do is we might shoot with a 24 to 105 and zoom in. We back up, zoom in. So that way you're compressing that scene. You have everybody lined up in their gaps. We have 1 to 2 lights in the front, and if we want to get super fancy, we'll put 2 edge lights. Okay, the further you back up, the shallower depth of field you can use. So we can go down to f4 and have it to where that background's compressed. You have a little bit blurry background. That is a photo that parents can never get with their phones. So we do that. If we're doing a smaller league or we had a big volleyball program it was a premier league, then we might get a little more creative with the posing. Okay. Just making sure that we're always putting everybody in gaps so that it looks pro. We don't want anybody standing directly behind the athlete in front of them because you can't see their number. They're covering up. So we want to make sure that you're always shooting in gaps for your team photos. So yes, we do a ton of team photos. Now, the one thing about team individuals is what parents are buying. We don't get very many purchases that are just team photos. So we really concentrate. Our most talented photographers are shooting individuals. Our photographers that we're training are shooting teams.
All right. And one more question, because it seems super relevant. Do you have any tips for shooting outdoors on windy days?
That's tough. You have to, in the spring in Georgia, we do get some pretty big winds. We really pay attention to the forecast, which direction the wind's coming out of. We do use big soft boxes. If you're in a super windy area, maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe I think Magmod makes a really nice beauty dish that's a little bit smaller and it can handle if the light tips over. But you have to pay attention to the way you use your sandbags. We have sandbags for everything. So if you have the wind blowing one direction, you always have your light stand has to have a leg that's going straight downwind. So that way, when the wind's blowing that light, that it's holding up against the wind. And then where you put your sandbag on the opposite side. Okay, so you put the sandbag on the opposite side and the leg going downwind. That really does a great job with these big soft boxes. Now, if we're having soft boxes, we have the stand secured, but then the soft box is blowing back and forth. We have these big mega stands, we call them. So we use these for scrims. They're real heavy Matthews or Kupo stands. They weigh like 40 pounds. We can the wind's typically blowing one direction. So we put a big stand that's, 45 pounds. It's not going to tip over right up against that light. And that'll keep the light from blowing one way or the other. So sandbags are your friends, making sure that you have that soft box supported on the side that is going to blow. It's going to move left or right. Make sure you put something on that side so it won't move. Then you should be okay. If you have to use reflectors because it's a super windy day, that's just what you have to do. Now on scrims, you have to be really careful with scrims. The same thing. You have to counterbalance. You have to have your scrim as flat as possible. If it's tilted up, that thing's going to go. And you want to have a counterbalance when it's super windy. Also, it helps. We have wheels on all of our big stands. And we leave the wheels unlocked. So if the wind's blowing really hard, it'll just move the stand. It won't flip over. Okay. Wheels are very expensive, but You can use them in so many different ways. It's totally worth the investment. Again, John Scott at Robert's Camera, he's your guy. If you have questions about, he can even help you with all these tips. If you have questions about what stands to buy, what soft boxes to buy, and how to put up your scrim, that's a good thing to ask him questions. And we learn all that at Boatwright Bootcamp, by the way.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jay. We are out of time, but yeah, really appreciate you. And we will get this replay out in a couple of hours to everyone.
Perfect.
Thanks so much.
Thanks so much. All right.